Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco, and Russell Jackman.
You can't lock us down.
No,
That's right.
That is true. Hey, at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and you can listen to Sports Econ 101 on iHeart, TuneIn, Sports Byline USA, and now welcoming our new listeners on Sirius XM, channel 217 on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Does that mean we can use like the 7 words you can't say on regular TV? We're on Sirius Radio now.
That's right, yeah, because we're on Sirius Radio. That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, now I can insult a whole new class of people.
All right.
Wow.
So, now, last time, I think I asked you guys some hard questions. So this time it's the NFL. And also for our serious listeners, we wanted to get a little bit easier. So it's the NFL, not so hard questions, maybe. All right?
And for you Sirius Radio regulars, Howard Stern is not walking through that door. I know he signed a brand new deal, new extension that's going to pay him bank, but not on this channel.
Yeah, I would like to get him on the show. So
why not? If you like sports. If you like sports, we'll get them on the show. Yeah, we're gonna get some. We're gonna get back to getting some good guests on. Before I couldn't get them to fly all the way from the East Coast to do a 1-hour show. I mean, come on, this is Sports Econ.
Yeah. True.
I was teasing Brent Jones about coming on the show. He goes, I live in Dallas now, and I said, and your point is. I go, get on a plane, come over here. We laughed
right.
about that. Okay, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding anywhere from 7 to 12%. Because they have 4 different funds. You got to check them out at
7 to 12.
7 to 12. Yeah, seriously, without any losses.
7. Oh my.
All right. So check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. All right. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. First of all, earlier in the week, the Bills beat the 49ers. And did you know before they mentioned it on Monday Night Football that it was the first time this century the Bills had won on Monday Night Football?
Not only that, they had lost 9 straight appearances on Monday Night Football. 6 of them since 2000. They had lost them all, and then 3 the previous back in the 1990s. So it was a long drought before Josh Allen and his big presence. My God, boy, he torched the 49ers.
He did. Well,
375 and 4 touchdowns, and hey, the Buffalo Bills are the real deal, not just offensively, but defensively as well.
Well, especially
and it pretty much crushes the 49ers' chances of making the playoffs, I think.
Their chances to make the playoffs, according to a statistic, just went down to just over 11%.
There you go. That one touchdown where he just ran over defensive safety, I think it was. I'm wondering.
Well, he's as big as Ben Roethlisberger. He's 6'6" and mid-200s.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a huge guy, strong arm. He's just he's just the real deal. And just to kind of localize it back to the Bay Area, do you know who his quarterback coach is with the Buffalo Bills? I'll just go ahead and answer it. His name is Ken Dorsey, who played high school football at Miramonte, then was a 2-time Heisman finalist at the University of Miami, and was a 7th-round draft pick of the 49ers in 2003.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I wonder if they kept losing on Monday Night Football because, at nighttime when you play, it's cold out there. And Buffalo Bills, they're not used to playing in cold weather.
Well, this is not to say that the Buffalo Bills actually hosted a Monday Night Football game. I'm just talking about being an appearance of Monday Night Football.
I'm just teasing because every time I think of Buffalo with playing football in the wintertime, I keep thinking about all the freezing,
I have been there. There's only one person on this program that's run around Rich Stadium in his underwear and boots, and that's me.
Okay, why the underwear and boots?
I wanted to show how cold it really was in Buffalo. This was just before the 1992 or 3 AFC Championship game when Buffalo hosted Joe Montana and the Kansas City Chiefs. It was Montana's last game in the NFL, and the Bills just took it to them. But we had the game on at the time Kron, which was the NBC affiliate. And so we had to dispatched me to Buffalo, and to really kind of dig beneath the method to our madness. The 49ers were in the NFC championship game. So we had another crew covering the 49ers because the plan was for Steve Young and Joe Montana to be on a collision course for the Super Bowl, and it just didn't happen.
It didn't happen. So now, were you when you were in your boots and your underwear, were you wearing a hat?
Did I have I think I might have had a.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm not impressed anymore because you lose most of your heat in your head. See, it's like, all these guys in Green Bay, when it's like, 2 degrees outside and,
Well, let me tell you something, man. It was cold, brother. It was absolutely cold.
Yeah, I don't think the hat did much.
I'm just teasing you, but I gotta say though, it's kind of funny when you see these guys in Green Bay, and there's 4 of them lined up. They don't have shirts on, right? And they're kind of, I'm manly,
right?
I'm kind of going, okay. First of all, take your shoes and socks off, and take your hat off. Okay, now I'm going to be really impressed.
Wow, I loved working for Kron at the time. I loved that they had a gig for the AFC Championship game, but it wasn't worth the frostbite.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine. I mean, maybe I'd go without my thermal underwear and I kind of show off. All I have is a parka,
But you know what? It was really cool. I mean, Buffalo's a cool town. I mean, aside from the cold, it was a cool town, great vibe, blue collar kind of workman kind of attitude to it. And we did all of our shows from a Buffalo Wings bar that was owned by Jim Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was really cool. I had a great time there.
Yeah, it's so funny because Frank Reich is the the coach of the Colts, and I still remember. I mean, his one day that just shined was back in '91, I think it was, when the Bills beat Houston. When I think it was Kelly who got hurt, right? And
was that the game where the Bills were down 35-3 at the half, and then they came back and won that game?
Just
crazy.
And the announcers were telling you, we're saying, this game is over. Don't bother watching the second half. I said, that is just enough reason for me to watch the second half.
Yeah, and I was a big Warren Moon fan, so I was really disappointed. I didn't know anything about Frank Reich, but
I tell you what, I wrote him off. I was living in San Francisco at the time. At halftime, I shut it off, and I was living on Fillmore Street in Pacific Heights, and there was a massage place right down the street called Kabuki Hot Springs. So I went down, got a good massage, had a bath, I was off that day, and then I come out and I walk by one of the trendy bars on Fillmore, and everybody's kind of crowded around the set, and then lo and behold, the comeback.
Yeah, I
could be like, I missed almost the whole thing.
Now here's the most important question: was that massage worth it?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay. So it was worth missing it because you always catch the highlights later on. All right. Let's see. Moving on here. So what's the deal with Mayweather fighting Logan Paul, who is a YouTube star? Apparently, I guess he's a star. And I'm thinking, so is Kendall Kardashian up next to fight Mayweather? I mean, he's going to fight this guy, and then he's going to keep.
Well, I mean, this is all part of that Legends tour, and then last week or the week before was the famous Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight, which I watched, and then on the undercard was Paul, who just flattened
Nate Robinson.
I mean, just one punch, boom, down on the ground. So Logan Paul, who did train well for this thing. Now he's going to take on Floyd Mayweather Jr. and this will not last long.
Boxing has really hit an all-time low, if you ask me. Yeah. I think that this is as bad as boxing's ever been, and the fact that now you have literally like YouTube celebrities being considered, boxing.
But there's not much. That's not. It's not because of scandals, though, right? I mean, I'm not here. There was a time when boxing was going downhill because of all kinds of weird scandals, Don King, and all that kind of stuff. Now,
I think Mr. Jackman is coming from like the purist fan of boxing. Now, it's just kind of tarnished it a little bit. If I'm putting words in his mouth.
I think it's because MMA fighting has gotten so popular.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. That the popularity of MMA, kids don't necessarily want to grow up to be boxers anymore. It's not. There isn't the allure of it, and there isn't a for sure champion that everybody looks to, like Muhammad Ali or Foreman or Holyfield or Tyson. You know, there isn't like the for sure best, toughest guy in the world that everyone wants to beat. It's all just, you know, whatever they throw up there and, you know, tell you is the next pay-per-view. That's really what, you know, do you remember how Muhammad Ali used to fight every week pretty much on Wide World of Sports?
Did it seem like it? It did seem like that.
Rumble in the Jungle. And by the way, Mike Tyson made $10 million for that fight against Roy Jones.
See, that's the whole thing, is that it's more, you know, who wants to win the lottery by being out there and boxing one of these matches.
Yeah,
it's the toughest guy that we can find.
Well, Mr. Russell,
I have a couple of quick points on that, because I see Edward reaching for the nose to call, because he wants to go to break.
Yeah.
Quickly, everybody that watched that fight with me, 21 or less. So the young demographic, they got him there. And the other thing is, everybody wants to see the train wreck. Everybody wants to see the wreck. When you're driving in your car on the highway, you see a wreck. You slow down and you turn and crane your neck to look. And and there's the appeal.
Very good. Okay, guys, going to our first commercial trivia question here. We're talking football. Name the player who played in 4 different decades, 340 games over 26 seasons. All right, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
All right, let's go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Our first trivia question was, again, we're talking football. Name the player who played in 4 different decades, 340 games over 26 seasons.
26 seasons.
Anytime
you say something like that, it makes me want to say George Blanda.
It is George Blanda. See, last week Last week you answered George Blanda on who played the most games for one team, and that was not the correct answer. So I said, well, I got to throw a George Blanda question in there.
Well, whenever it's something ridiculous and lasts too many seasons, you're always good to guess George Blanda.
Yeah, he retired at age 48. Which didn't Satchel Paige pitch until he was like 120 or something?
Yeah.
No, I think he was like close to 60, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't get his break in the major leagues until he was after 40.
Yeah, for the Cleveland Indians. Yes.
There you go.
All right. James Harden. Holy smokes, giving up $50 million a year from the Rockets. He wants to play for Brooklyn. I guess he wants to play, I guess if that a championship team contender, maybe is with friends. So he didn't show up for practice, and he claims COVID was the reason for it, protocol. What do you guys think?
Yeah, the only problem is he claimed COVID was the reason, but then he was spotted at a strip club at a birthday party for a guy with no mask on the day at the same time he was supposed to report for the Houston Rockets. I'll say this about James Harden: he's a smart guy. Okay, so I think for some reason he showed up at this birthday party where he was going to be seen without a mask, just to kind of twist it a little bit to the Houston Rockets to kind of
he's
move him
for the next 3 years. He's not a free agent for another 3 years.
So what's
good luck on that.
So
but you know the star. You know this, Mr. Jack. The stars have the power in the NBA, and if he shows that he's that disgruntled enough where he just does not want to be there, then they have to deal him.
Brooklyn doesn't have the salary.
Brooklyn
does not have the available salary to fit him under the cap at all.
And that's what hurts him, and that's what pigeonholes the Houston Rockets. If it had been like Philadelphia, where maybe you could like work on packaging him or something like that, then maybe. But he's just put he's just put the whole organization in a bind by just saying it's got to be Brooklyn and nobody else.
So why is he so disgruntled with Houston? Is it just because they keep losing?
Houston's a mess. You think Houston's going to win another championship the way that they're constructed right now?
Only if they get Hakeem Olajuwon back.
Well, no, but Harden wants to win now. He's the best player on the team, arguably the best player in the conference, and he wants out. He wants to go somewhere where he can tag himself alongside one, maybe two other superstars to just go out and win something. Because right now, check his resume. How many NBA titles?
0.
Exactly.
No, and he's got all the money in the world at this point, I got to think. So,
but his window was really open. His window was really open when he was going up against the Warriors and the Western Conference.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, look what rather than like Curry and Green and Thompson leaving the Warriors, they convinced Durant to come there. I wonder if he, could Harden convince people to come to Houston?
No.
Who would want to? He's a terrible teammate in a lot of ways. And
not only that, I don't know Coach Silas, but he's brand new. I mean, if you're a veteran, you want to go and play for that guy. You want some young coach to tell you to put more mustard on that pass. You're like, wait, who are you talking to?
Yeah, but didn't Ty Lue do that? He's a young guy.
Well, Ty Lue was smart. When he went to Cleveland, he did whatever LeBron James told him to do.
Yeah.
LeBron was the coach there.
And same thing in Miami too, right? When they won the championship.
I'd say Spoelstra was a stronger voice there, and LeBron was less dominant because he hadn't won his titles.
And then you had Pat Riley was the Geppetto. He was controlling all the screens.
We got to give credit to Spoelstra. He's been a good coach. Spoelstra, I always gave too much credit to Riley, but I've looked at what Spoelstra's done, especially to get into the NBA Finals last year or this year with the crew that he had, to be better than Milwaukee, to be better than Toronto, told me that Spoelstra has accomplished quite a bit that we don't give him credit for.
Fair point.
Very, very good point. And still on basketball, Gonzaga pausing all activities until December 14th. Holy smokes! I mean, number one in the country, and they're putting things on. I mean, what's that going to do to the schedule? And
what is it going to do that now that Draymond Green and James Wiseman have tested COVID positive?
Yeah, they got COVID. They're not in camp, and they won't be in camp for quite some time.
The 22nd. The NBA starts on the 22nd. If you give them 2 weeks of quarantine, that means they're going to be stepping right out of quarantine and onto an NBA floor with James Wiseman, who has played 3 games as a college player. That's got to be the least amount of practice and experience that an NBA player has ever been subjected to before being a starter.
It's young in the season, so they have time. What can you do?
Not my nature to really drop names, but I just did an interview with Kenny the Jet Smith from NBA on TNT, and he said, "Hey, the time is now for everybody. I mean, there's no baking in the oven. You got to throw everybody in the microwave because we got to get this thing going quick." And he said that Draymond's a veteran. I mean, he works with Draymond is going to be doing the December 26th TNT pregame and postgame show. But Draymond's one thing. He's an established star that kind of knows the system. He can just kind of walk right in and do it. Wiseman, or I should say Weissman. I should correct everybody. It's pronounced Weissman, not Wiseman.
Gotcha.
But Weissman, he's the guy that even Steve Kerr said, you're really going to have to be careful with this guy. Don't expect him to come in and be Wilt Chamberlain his first game. It's going to take some time to learn how to play this game.
I mean, how much does he weigh? Right?
Doesn't matter what. The pounds of the conditioning and the weight, all that's going to come. I mean, they can take care of that.
That's what I'm getting at.
But I'm talking about it, and Mr. Jackman knows. I'm talking about the ability to learn how to defend in the NBA. And that's one of the hardest things to do. The shooting and the offense, they can.
And only 3
that comes
college
along.
Games.
But it's the ability to defend other bigs in the league. That's going to be the challenge.
Well, and when
only 3 games in college. There's no way he could be ready. There's just absolutely no way.
I mean, I remember, was it?
No summer league, no camps, no nothing. It just rip the Band-Aid off and let's get going.
I mean, when you had like Sean Kemp, the man child, I mean, he was, you get a big guy like that, right? And he's just going to get bigger and stronger. Weissman is probably the same way. But do you guys remember, was it Sean Bradley? Was that his name?
Yes.
Sean Bradley, yes.
Yep, the Storm and Mormon.
The Storm and Mormon, yeah. And he just never put the weight on. He was 7'6", which is
same
great.
with the new Bull.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was son Bol.
Yeah, Bol.
Who's also in the league. Yep.
That's right. Where's he playing?
Portland.
Yeah, he's from Portland.
Portland. And how tall is he?
7'2", I think.
Yeah, not as tall as his dad.
Yeah.
But tall enough, and he's a little bit more filled in than his dad is.
That's the thing, man. They got to, as Vern has his.
And Bol has been.
They got to go to the Waffle House.
Bol has been playing basketball his whole life, whereas Minute spent a good part of his time growing up strangling lions and stuff.
Yeah.
And playing soccer.
I interviewed Manute Bol one time at a big man, tall man shop. And after the interview was over, he went over to his car, and he was driving a Jeep at the time. They had taken out the whole front seat. He sat in the back seat just so his legs could reach.
Did you have a picture
with Andre the Giant too?
Did you get a picture with him?
No. This is back in the days. This is like Kodak Instamatic. Camera days. Yeah, there was
probably because you're not the tallest man in the world. You probably came out more to like his hips or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
He was enormous.
Yeah, you kind of get a little bit of neck strain interviewing.
When I was managing, we actually broke in the Great Khali, the guy, the Indian, the guy from India who's 6'11" and 390 pounds, and he's so huge that when he would shake my hand, his hand would completely envelop mine. Like I was a little child, like my entire hand would fit in the middle of his palm, and his hand would completely encompass mine. So it's pretty wild to be hanging out with some giants.
I shook the hand of John Bella from the Raiders. Now again, he was in his 70s, but same sort of thing. It's like he blew up his hand, just this huge hand that just kind of takes over your entire one. Crazy.
And don't forget, hey, I went to college with Ralph Sampson. That's 7'4".
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's amazing. My son's friend is 6'11", and it's amazing how big 6'11" really is.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
All right. Second trivia question: which NFL team drafted Len Dawson? Remember Len Dawson from the 60s?
In FL, now he was in the AFL first.
Correct. So which team drafted him? That's our trivia question. Pretty simple, right? No trick questions. Just which NFL?
Oh, it's a trick question, all right. You never asked any straight questions.
This is one of these things where NFL team drafted him, but he didn't sign with the NFL. He signed with the AFL instead. It's probably one of those deals.
Oh no.
So we got to figure out the team that drafted him.
There you
NFL.
go. You guys are just too smart for me. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, imitating a lot of cartoon characters like Tennessee Tuxedo and Porky Pig, etc. You guys missed it on Sirius XM. Maybe we'll bring it sometime during the show just for laughs.
Okay.
I'm Edward Brown along with Vern Glenn and
because we need the laughs on this show. We're way too serious.
Way too serious? Okay. Here's our second trivia question. Which NFL team drafted Len Dawson? So you guys all remember Len Dawson won Super Bowl III.
And he was with the
Super Bowl
This gotta be,
Chiefs versus Vikings. I was very depressed because I was a big Vikings fan, Fran Tarkenton and all those fun guys. That's right, because the Jets was the Super Bowl III. So which team drafted Len Dawson?
Well, before the Kansas City Chiefs, they were in Dallas. They were the Dallas Texans. And Hank Stram was the head coach, and they won the AFL championship, I believe, in 1960. But I'm going to guess he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
No, he was drafted by an absolutely awful team in the early 60s. Does that give you a hint?
49ers?
No.
No.
We were terrible in the 60s.
That's true. No, he was actually drafted by the Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I never would have thought that. Wow.
I never would have guessed
like
that.
I said, easy questions, hard questions. Yeah, got a little bit of both.
They could have used him last night, though.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that 11-0 turns into 11-1 thanks to the Washington football team?
Yeah.
Well, who would have thought the New York Football Giants would go to Seattle and win that game?
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, man. These are grown men. These are paid professional football. They're not paid to play football. They're paid to win games. And I'm telling you, any given Sunday, like the cliche goes, somebody can be beaten.
But
it's just hard to be mentally there 100% of the time.
Russell Wilson is coming back down to earth. He was having a phenomenal season early, and it seems like the league has caught up to him. Whereas with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, I don't think anyone looked at them like they were an 11-0 team. They just didn't have the feel of it. They were lucky to play a completely moribund Baltimore team last week that didn't even want to be on the field without Lamar Jackson. You know, they were playing, fourth string guys because of the COVID problems. And
Kyler Murray's come down to earth too.
Yeah, he has. He didn't look all that great against the Rams,
You know what? But you know what the difference maker is this? Just film study and film breakdown. I mean, people look at how they're playing, and then if you're a good defensive coordinator, you come with a game plan to stop what they're doing. I mean, it's all about that. And in the case of the Steelers, what's impressive to me is the Steelers are playing at home, and they had a 14-0 lead.
Yeah,
and they lost the game.
Too many drop passes. So what do you think about that Raiders Jets game last week?
You got to cover somebody with the last 5 seconds. You'd think the one play that they had to do was cover the long bomb, and they couldn't do it. It cost their defensive coordinator his job. Greg Williams got the axe right the day after. So that. And I don't think Adam Gase is there for much longer either.
I mean, but you fire the coach. What is he supposed to do? Say, oh, by the way, remember, watch out for the long ball. Here's the first down marker. There's 8 seconds. If there's 8
someone
seconds,
had to pay a price.
But if it's watch out for the long ball, then why did he call an all-out blitz? He called it all that was Greg Williams' last defensive call, an all-out blitz. Derek Carr. Carr stepped up and let it go, and then he had a burner who ran a perfect route. That ball hit him right here in the end zone. It was perfect.
So, here's that potential reason. If you do an all-out blitz, quarterback doesn't have that much time right? I mean, he's got to make a really quick decision. So I don't necessarily blame that, but you got to get the defensive guys to play back far.
Yeah, but it goes against the rules of the prevent defense. I mean, you're supposed to have 8 guys, 7 guys drop deep to bat the ball down. Everybody in the building knew that the ball. He had to throw a Hail Mary in order to have a chance to win the game.
And that's what happened against the Bills with Kyler Murray. And he did the Hail Mary, and I'm just kind of guy. It's like no matter which one you do, if the other one doesn't work,
Let's face it, you can't fire a player, so the coach is the one that has to take the blame.
I mean, you can bench a player.
Yeah, but you can't fire him, and you want to send that message. That there's going to be a house cleaning at the end of the season. You do it with the defensive and hey, it's not like getting rid of their defensive coordinator. Anyone's going to notice, because they're already 0-12 and headed probably for the Detroit 0-16.
Well, yeah, they.
Well, in the case of Detroit, they got rid of Matt Patricia. What happened? Next week, they won the game.
Yeah. So I guess they just assured themselves as a first-round draft choice, right? So they kind of have to look at the positive side of that. Hey, one more thing I've got on basketball here. Smart Anthony Davis signed a 5-year, $190 million deal stating protection against career-threatening injuries as the reason. And I think it's really smart when guys think about that ahead of time.
Until you wind up like James Harden. And then suddenly you don't like let's say LeBron retires for some reason, gets hurt, and suddenly Anthony Davis wants to go play with his friends over in Brooklyn or he wants to play with his friends over in, Utah, or, fill in the blank. I mean, these contracts seem great when you sign them, and then a couple of years later, when you change your mind and you don't want to play for that team anymore, they become big lodestones.
Yeah, but how many times do guys sign contracts or they think,
I'm
not
like
going to sign
Anthony Davis, who actually had signed a contract with New Orleans and then refused to play for it. See, that very same player already did this once with his team. So are you telling me that it can't happen again? He already did it once.
No, it definitely can. I'm just thinking from the aspect of guys who say, their attitude is, well, I'm not going to get hurt, so I'm going to hold off for the best.
It doesn't matter if you get hurt or not. It's you change your mind and suddenly you don't want to play for that team anymore. And Anthony Davis already did that.
So from his standpoint, he did the right thing, right? Because sure, I'll sign this huge contract, and then if
I don't know, talk to James Harden. Because James Harden signed the $50 million a year contract, and now he's trying to go to Brooklyn, and now he can't go because it's too expensive. So you better make sure you want to stay.
Okay, well, let me ask you, does the player have the right to take a lower pay to put it in the salary cap?
Actually, I think because of collective bargaining agreement, you can't.
The first big deal that Stephen Curry signed handful of years ago was a team-friendly deal so they could help make the team better, and they did. But now, I mean, it's kind of paid off because Curry is due to earn this coming season over $43 million.
Yeah,
don't you want to see what the 2-week pay stub looks like?
Yeah,
43 million. No, in a calendar year. Edward, do the math. In the calendar year, 43 million. What is your gross 2-week paycheck?
Well, almost $1 million a week. But I wouldn't want that because I'd hate to see the side of the taxes, and that would upset me too much.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, they got to pay taxes in every state they play.
Every state that they play, I know.
Yeah.
In fact, has an income tax. Yeah.
Richard Sherman made kind of a joke the other day about, well, at least we're in Arizona, but because we're in Arizona, we save on taxes.
Well, wait a minute though.
Because normally they have to go they'd have to go to Dallas, so they'd have to go. These road games now are games that are going to be played in Arizona.
Oh, so I mean, Arizona does have an income tax. It's just lower.
It's lower, and they just play the same. So they save money by staying in Arizona.
That's a very good point.
Yesterday, I heard on the radio they were still saying that tickets for the 49ers 2020-2021 season are still available.
There you go.
So
don't
buy your seats over at Levi's and sit there and sit in an empty stadium because how they could sell tickets to a team that's not coming back to the Bay Area.
Maybe they'll put those cardboard cutouts. That's what you're buying.
Yes.
James Harden should think about this and go, let's see, in Houston, where in Texas there is no income tax, versus if I go to Brooklyn, I mean, New York has a very, very high tax. So obviously for him, it ain't about the money.
No, it's not. And
Harden hasn't cared about the money, I think, in a number of years.
Here's a Sports Econ 101 question for you, Edward. When you're at that level, aren't there, fill in the players, foundations, charitable things? Aren't there ways to just where you're not even really hurt that much by the high tax?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are, because it's a below the line deduction rather than above the line, meaning adjusted gross income. So generally speaking, you can write off, if you give to like a quote normal charity, up to 50% of your income. Again, it's a below the line deduction, and there's certain aspects of how that helps or doesn't help as much. But then when you have a private foundation, then it's either 20% or 30%, depending upon, I believe the rule is however much you personally contribute versus other people. But still, you can give a lot of money away and still have a tax deductible.
So when I try and sell James Harden on the idea of the Vern Glenn Charitable Foundation, I go, hey, just talk to your tax guy, and just whatever contribution, we'll take it.
Well, you have to actually, if you want to do a 501c3 where it actually is tax deductible, then that'll be a 50% one because you're different than him. It's not his own private foundation. But actually, though, wait a minute. If you set up a private foundation, he can contribute to it, and that's probably a 30% deduct. But again, I mean, you're talking lots and lots of money that they can.
We go back to talking about Porky Pig and Foghorn Leghorn.
So I should
That's
I end
something I can contribute
We're not ready to
to.
end the show. That'll be next segment. But did I end it with that's all, folks?
Yeah, That's the closing line.
I don't know if the people on Sirius XM will think we're serious. Pun intended.
So to speak.
So to speak. Yeah. If we.
I wonder if our Sirius radio audience even knows who Porky Pig is.
Oh, they do.
Oh my gosh, they got to. I mean, he's a staple. You know, I mean, I think he transcends time.
There are people in the listening and viewing audience out there that think that Popeye's favorite food is chicken.
That's
actually
a good one.
Okay. Here's a cartoon trivia question for you. Before Popeye ate spinach to make him strong, what was the original food?
Where did he get his strength from? I don't know. That's a good one. I don't even know that. That's something I would probably expect to know.
Garlic?
Broccoli.
Broccoli?
Originally it was broccoli, yeah.
Is there an animated cartoon where he goes, "Oh, let me get my broccoli"?
Well,
that's a good
I
question.
have bad news for you. There is a cartoon where they talked about the origin of Popeye, and he actually they put him back in Greek times, and he ate garlic to make himself strong, but nobody could stand the smell.
Yeah,
and so
he had to prove himself. Okay,
yes.
Guys, here's our last trivia question. You guys remember Deacon Jones?
Yes,
of course. Okay. Yeah, he's master of the head slap. Yeah,
that's right. And that's
he was recording. He
appeared on the Brady Bunch.
And he was recording sax. He was recording sax before sax was a statistic.
Correct. But here's our question: what's his first name?
Oh,
Earl.
What is Deacon Jones' first name? It's not.
Is
Deacon.
it?
No, but don't guess now. We got audiences who are
that's right.
sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for this. All right, stay with us.
Don't look it up.
I'm not. Oh no,
I see typing going on.
Burns very honest. Okay, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Our third trivia question was, what was Deacon Jones? I guess we have to say was because unfortunately passed away last year, didn't he? What was Deacon Jones of the LA Rams? What was his first name?
Well, my guess for the commercial break was Earl.
No.
And I'll say James.
No, David. His name was David. Yeah,
Well, how did he get? What was Deacon his middle name?
You're asking me these difficult questions there, Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, but then where did the nickname come from? I mean, I don't think he played at Wake Forest. So how did he get?
Oh, but the Demon Deacons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he play for Wake Forest?
I thought. I don't know. Well, that'll come next week. We'll have to look that one up.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Okay, are you guys ready for our thoughts for the day?
Yes.
Wow, that fast. Oh, yeah, sure.
So I saw a sign that said, if you come in without a mask, we'll have to take your temperature. P.S. We only have rectal thermometers. Choose wisely.
Depends where you wear the mask then.
Yeah, that'll definitely make you wear a mask. All right. Okay. And I accidentally handed my wife a glue stick instead of chapstick. She still isn't talking to me.
That's a good one, but it's very good.
You like that one, huh?
Thinking that's actually some decent COVID advice for for the house. You want to get along better. Glue sticks for everybody.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for our show.
Aren't you glad, Sirius, that you tuned in to this?
Yes, you are. And shh, be very, very quiet. We're going to cut out right now. Okay. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
Adios, America.
Go on.
All right, Edward.